just left the seafood place, and wow, that was something else. We had the Cullen skink each, a bowl of that, which is like a fish and potato soup, which was absolutely incredible, followed by some skinny fries, some not so skinny onion rings, and some red slaw. And wow, it was awesome, absolutely brilliant. Great place. If you're anywhere vaguely near it, I highly suggest you stop in and grab something. I think the chap said he even had fresh lobster this morning, but I certainly think that was snapped up early doors. So the plan is we're heading to go and see this beach now, which is supposed to be beautiful, about 36 minutes away. We're still heading south down through Harris, with the goal being ending up at the ferry stop around 6 o'clock tonight, really. It's the plan anyway, so we've got a couple of hours, and then we'll get that ferry to Uist. But yeah, it's been a nice day so far, nice bit of food. It's always easier to ride and you always feel a little bit better, I think, when you had something to eat. Hasn't been much chance to stop for food today with it being such a busy day and lots to pack in, but that was nice. It's probably looking like we're going to end up with tea on the ferry again, because I think by the time the ferry gets to Uist, I doubt very much there'll be much open. But petrol wise we're fine. And if you can see actually, but the bike, according to itself, has been doing 14.4 miles to the litre, and it's been pretty much averaging that since we left home. I ran that through an online calculator, so if the bike's right and if the online calculator's right, that's around 63 to 65 mpgs, which for a fairly heavy bike, 2 up with luggage on some twisties and some up and downs, I don't know what I was expecting, but I thought that was really good. I'd seen some reports online that I might be lucky to get into the 50s if you're touring, but you know, mid 60s I think is awesome. I reckon if I was doing this one up with hardly any luggage, top 60s would easy be, or high 60s would be easy a thing, miles per gallon wise, which is brilliant. It just means that you can go to more places like that, and know that it's not going to cost the earth. Speaking of petrol prices and things, it's not too bad on the island. We filled up this morning in a little local petrol station. It was like 133 a litre, which, to give it in context, is almost exactly the same as what I paid in the northeast before we left. I would have expected it to be a fair bit more, bearing in mind that they have to ship it around and get it out here, and they send those little tankers round, and you know, and it's not a big, certainly wasn't a big chain that we bought it from. It was a local independent. So yeah, it's really impressive. Anyway, so onwards and upwards as it is, and yeah, we'll catch you in a little bit when we get closer to this beach. Oh, and there's the view where we just stopped. There's those white houses in the distance. Okay, so just stopped at the Harris shop, bought a couple of bits and bobs. First for my mum and a new wallet for me, and the wife picked up some bits and bobs for family, so that's all nice. Now we are starting to get to the point where we're going to run out of time. We've got 2 things, well, 1 thing left we want to do, which is visit this beach, and then from there it's a blast to the ferry. Just trying to work out whether or not we're going to be able to fit all of this in. In the meantime, while we work that out, we've got another one of Harris's gorgeous twisty lanes. Wow, look at this! This road. Absolutely incredible. Surface again is still lovely and grippy. You feel the tyres biting into it when you're leaning. No. Managed to catch somebody up. That's a first since we've been on Lewis and Harris. We're actually not the slowest moving vehicle. Well, there you go. So we've had to make the decision that we just haven't got time to see the beach and to get to the ferry in time. What makes the torture even worse is that you can see the beach because it's just across the other side. There you go. That's the beach. Beautiful green waters and white sandy beaches. Just ran out of time, unfortunately. It's so pretty though. Oh, thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Wow, look at this. What a pretty area. Isn't it strange how the sea suddenly gets really turquoisey over there? What an awesome place to live this would be. Looking right out on that beach every day. That is something else. Unreal. If you took the grey sky out of that, you could be in the Caribbean with water that coloured. And we now found ourselves rushing for the ferry. We got 45 minutes to get there and it's a 20 and a bit minute ride. So as long as there's no traffic or problems we should be fine. Although we probably do need to stick a little bit of petrol in first. Look at that. It's been like being abroad. Sea and sand like that. Unreal. This is the final blast down the west coast of Harris, down to Levenberg at the bottom where we get the ferry from. And then it's only a short ferry tonight, an hour to North Uist, so that's not too bad. Look at the waves crashing in, they're pure green. Wow, jeez. Honestly, you would not think you're in the Outer Hebrides. Insane. Okay, so this looks like the ferry. Oh, that was a bit tricky. Trying to keep it inside those little lines. Yeah. Right, now, one small problem. I haven't set the sat nav, so I'm not entirely sure where we're going, so I think we go across this causeway and then we'll see what's what from there. He's not hanging around, is he? Did anybody even jump on it?
No, look at him spinning around.
Whoa.
Not with that any. I don't think there's anyone on that because they wouldn't do it like that, would they? Doing like it's spinning around.
And off he goes. Right, welcome to North Uist. Uist even. Just spent a good 20 minutes playing around with the drone on the causeway. So we'll stick a couple of shots of that in. Hopefully you'll see them about now. The plan is fairly simple. Head for the digs. Although what we managed to do was come in at the very top of North Uist and have digs booked pretty much at the very bottom. So that gives us a 40-50 minute drive from North Uist down to South Uist, all of which we'll have to undo tomorrow to start at the top of the island and have a look at some of the things that we want to see, but that's fine. Also, I've had my first little bit of petrol range anxiety. That's just before the the ferry from Harris. We dropped to under half and there wasn't anywhere to top up, so we're now heading towards a 24-hour petrol station, which the lady who owns it assures me pump 1 will be open, just to top her up and make sure we got a full tank for our exploits tomorrow. Initial impressions of Uist? Very nice. It's definitely a bit more sparse than the Harris that we just left. Road-wise, smooth tarmac seems to continue. Most of this bit, and this is, I assume, a major road as it goes up to the ferry port, most of this looks to be single track with passing places, but that's fine. We're a little bit used to that already. So yeah, all good so far. We'll see what we got over the top of this rise, see if there's anything worth leaving the GoPro on for. Yeah, I would say that's worth leaving the GoPro on for. Wow. You want to get some views when you're travelling around Scotland. We've got a lovely little snake-in road. Out and around. Guy there's very kindly waiting in the passing place. It's very nice of him. Thank you very much. And off we go and round. First hairpin. Right, and we're looking for a left turn Not even going to attempt to pronounce that. Lock something or other. It's nice riding at this time. Temperature's cool, the wind's not really up. There's no midges to be seen of. Roads are quiet. Good riding. Sun's probably just about to go down over there. Little houses dotted around. Nice place. Really nice place. Another great bit of scenery. Little lock on the left hand side. It's the A865, which I'm absolutely convinced is the road that we were on when we left Harris, so I'm not entirely sure how that works. Surely it can't be the same road. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. But yeah, this appears to be the main road south, from North Uist down to South Uist. Sun's starting to dip down behind the clouds behind us. Brings out the vibrancy in the entire environment. Everything suddenly looks a brighter shade of green, or a deeper shade of purple, or a darker shade of blue. The observant amongst you might have also noticed that we've picked up some heather on the front of the bike. It's the wedding flower that my wife and I had at our reception, so when we saw a lovely bit of purple stuff, we couldn't resist adding a bit to the bike. Hopefully it'll last and follow us round. Be nice. It's definitely quite barren, this bit. There's the odd scattered house over the distance. Probably won't be able to see it on the GoPro. Little white houses, but for the most part. Oh, there's some more in front there. Very similar to Harris, I'd say, this bit. Certainly in the way it looks. Definitely more similar to Harris than it is to Lewis. The mountains in the background. And trees. It's one of the things we noticed. There's actually some trees again. There wasn't many of those on Lewis and Harris. But we've got some now. Another cracking road, mind. Nice, gentle, swooping bends and undulations. Nice. Cars and bikes. This gentleman looks like he's coming through. Lady, and she was. Still think the car driver doesn't understand that it's a lot harder for a bike to stop than it is for them. It's what time are we on now? Nearly 8:15. And I think the wife and I are starting to feel a little peckish now. A little bit of tea wouldn't go amiss, but I think the digs where we're staying tonight, there's no there's a soldier statue over there. Digs tonight, there isn't really any opportunity for any food, so we do really need to try and forage something on the way, I think, otherwise we're going to be hungry. I think we've got a bag of popcorn left, a couple of biscuits, whee! And the leftovers of a millionaire shortbread and some other crazy brownie. That's all we got for sustenance if we don't find some food. Kind of hoping there might be a little co-op or a spa or something open somewhere. But we'll see. And then tomorrow, it's a proper explorer of Uist. Probably involve us coming all the way back up here again. And then exploring as we go south. That'll probably be the plan, I think. There's definitely not as much to see, or that we've identified so far on Uist, as there was on Lewis and Harris. and we've got just as much time, and the island itself is nowhere near as big. So also the roads don't seem to sort of twist and wind as much as they did on Lewis and Harris, so hopefully we'll get to see everything that we want to see tomorrow and we won't miss out on anything. That'll be cool. And then the ferry's at a similar time as it was tonight, so it's a shame, to be honest, that the place where we're staying on Uist isn't a little bit closer to the north, and then we could have just rocked up, parked the bike, grabbed some dinner and had a bit of a relax, but it's not to be. So I'm sure they'll be somewhere. To be honest, I'll be happy when we find the petrol place, and it is 24 hours. That's my biggest, I wouldn't say concern. Concern's not the right word. I definitely feel better with a full tank of juice though. Especially as I think, from a little Google search that we did, there's only 3 petrol stations on the island. And whilst the island isn't massive, when you're doing a bit of tootling around and a bit of touring and seeing some things, you top a lot more miles than if you were just driving A to B, so definitely better to have a little bit of juice in the tank and to not have that to worry about, or think about even. So, yeah. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit now, as it did last night. Good thing is it stops the midges. Negative thing is, just tend to blow the bike away. Wow, look at that. Sun going down in the distance. Wow, beautiful. Large mountain over there, cloud covered, something you can climb up. Wife and I have just had a discussion and we've decided it's too high. We'll see it from here. Otter crossing sign there. I don't think I've ever seen one of those outside of a DVLA theory test. Wow. Got some scenery, North Uist. Looking down on the Google Maps there, it looks like we're driving across an island causeway. And you look either side and it makes sense. It's just sea. Little sea inlets everywhere. Some more feisty Scottish sheep. Stay there, mister. Don't want to be having a run-in with you guys. Well, we're about 7.5 miles away from this petrol station now, and hopefully where there's a petrol station there'll be something to get food. Otherwise we're going going to be looking for a pub, I guess. Or something. Somewhere where they'll serve us something. Otherwise we're going to be going to bed with nothing to eat. Like being a kid and getting told off. Oh, the Godray is coming down there. Wow. A lot of different companies specialising in shellfish distribution. Seen loads of different names in that field over the last couple of days. Oh, look at that, framed beautifully. It's like a scary haunted house. You weren't going to stop at the passing place, were you? Wow. Incredible scenery. I'm going to preempt this and assume that this chap isn't going to stop at a passing place, and he hasn't, and pull into this one. Car drivers do not like to stop and let you through. They much prefer just to barrel into you and have a game of chicken. Which, even if you're in the right, doesn't help when you're on a bike. Look at this. I think this is probably my favourite bit of any island that we've been on so far. The views here are something else. Lucky enough to drive the Florida Keys a few years back, and this is vaguely reminiscent of that in terms of the road being lifted above water sections and hopping from island to island. This is really similar to that. Staggeringly pretty. Last little rays of sun disappearing over there behind the clouds. I imagine the temperature's probably going to plummet when it does, when it finally vanishes. Round we go. Another random little sheep. Stay there, fella. Thank you. Right, 5 miles to petrol. And hopefully food. Okay, so we've just had some great news. We've just filled up, so we've got a full tank of Go Juice again, which is awesome. So my fuel anxiety is going to stop, which is great. And there's a very nice man driving a minibus, and he gave us the excellent news